Hi, I'm Simahk. I'm the understudy for Oliver, Gil, and James here at Maybe Happy Ending on Broadway, and you're watching Broadway Corner.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw. Thank you so much for being here. We are coming to you from the center of New York City. We're outside. It's a fun time. We have Sam here, who is our first repeat guest on this podcast. I've interviewed a couple people before, but you are the first person to appear twice individually on this podcast. So
Yeah, all right. Once in Boston, once in New York.
Yes, no, and catching up on so much. You recently joined the cast of Maybe Happy Ending as the first person to cover all three of the male tracks.
Yes.
And you just did an Off-Broadway show, Julia.
I did, yeah.
And
Giulia,
so-
the Poison Queen of Palermo, down at PAC NYC.
Yeah, so you're doing double duty for a while.
I was. It was a crazy, crazy summer. You know, I had Giulia on the books for the last 6 months or so, and knew that that was happening. And I was in Cincinnati working on a musical called Tenderly, which is a two-person jukebox musical about Rosemary Clooney. And it was super fun. It was a great time. And I was up there working on that when I got my friend Emilio, who's the associate director here at Maybe Happy Ending, or one of the associate directors, messaged me and said, hey, we want you to come in for this. Are you able to get to New York? And I was like, I can only come in on Monday, on the day off. And so he was like trying to figure out how to make it work. And I ended up sending in a tape, got some notes from my agent, and then sent in another tape. And then, I had an offer within a couple of days, and I put in my notice in Cincinnati. Sorry, Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park. Thank you for having me. I hope you hire me again someday. This is the first time I ever had to put in my notice for something.
Wow. I'm sure they understood.
Yeah, of course.
They were
of
like,
course.
they were like, go. They were like, please go.
Yeah, they were very happy for me. They were very stressed for them, but they were happy for me, and because I didn't have an understudy up there, so we had to find a replacement and everything. But once I got that offer, it actually lined up with Giulia perfectly, almost perfectly, where I came back, started rehearsal for Maybe Happy Ending. I had 3 weeks of preliminary rehearsal in May when they were rehearsing the rest of the new cast. So Zach Pizer went into the role, Hannah Cavett took over as Claire, and they had just hired Savvy Jackson, and Kathy Ong was coming back to the show, and so there was a big turnover, and they wanted to rehearse me at the same time.
Yeah.
And so they rehearsed me for those 2 weeks, and then the third week was a double duty week where I was at the Belasco Theater half of the time, and then I was at New 42, the studios, rehearsing Giulia, and I was back and forth in a couple of days. There were some days where I was just with Maybe Happy Ending or just with Giulia, but there were a couple of days where I was at New 42 for a couple hours, and then I booked it over to the Belasco for a couple of hours, and then I went back to New 42 for a couple of hours and back to the Belasco, and it was absurd and crazy and insane, but it was just so, that's what I came here for, you know, and so it was a dream come true, an exhausting dream come true.
Yeah, no, I saw something recently. There was someone on TikTok who was like, I'm doing my first equity contract of 8 shows a week, and I'm working my full-time job, and I'm getting a lot of callbacks for things like, I'm so grateful, but I'm so tired. And I was like, that is me constantly. It's like all these good things coming, and you're like, I still need time to rest, obviously, because we're people, but all blessings.
Right.
But tell us about Giulia, because I don't know a ton about it. I was trying to do research, but obviously since it's a newer show, there isn't like a plethora of information out about it. But talk about how you got involved with that, because I had no idea that Jennifer Nettles actually wrote it.
Yeah, she wrote the entire thing, the book, the score, she wrote the lyrics, she wrote the music. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant performer, a brilliant writer. It was just such a joy to be a part of. I was in a workshop of the show last May. Now they've been workshopping it. They did a workshop in December of 2024. I wasn't a part of it then, but I joined in May of 2025. And it was 3 weeks, I think, 3 weeks of just workshopping the show, making some minor changes, some major changes, and then there was a change in the creative team, and so I went in and re-auditioned that fall, I think, November, December, something like that. and got back into the show, and we did a reading in January of this year, and then a full production over the summer. I played a character named Father Paolo, who was, the show it takes place in Palermo in the 1600s, and it's about a woman who works as an apothecary and is in an abusive partnership. She saves her daughter's life by poisoning her abuser, and then she kind of comes into her own power by helping other women poison their abusers. And very cool show, very fun. My character was the one good man in Palermo, so that was really nice. So it was a fun thing to work on, and we all got so close during that process. It was just a beautiful group of people, a beautiful experience. And I'm sad that it's over, but I luckily went straight into Maybe Happy Ending. And, the last month in July, all of July, the last 3 weeks of it anyway, I was in double duty. So I was performing Giulia every night, and then I would come to the Belasco 2 days a week and rehearse and have my brush-up rehearsals. And then my closing week at Giulia, I had 3 rehearsals at the Belasco, and the last day, that Friday, I had my put-in for Oliver, who's the lead, and then I went and had a 5-show weekend, Friday night, 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Sunday. But it was, again, it was that exhausting dream come true, but it definitely leveled up my own understanding of my capabilities as a performer and as a professional, and it was just such an incredible experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah. No, and I saw the Instagram post of when you had to shave to do Oliver, and so Father Paolo became Brother Paolo.
Yes. Yeah. It was my joke. He was still Father Paolo in the script and everything.
Just, he became younger somehow, just overnight.
Yeah.
It's it's the Asian thing.
Yes. It helps when you shave off all the salt and pepper, and no one can tell how old you are again.
Yeah, and hence why you can play every single role in Maybe Happy Ending.
Yeah.
So talk about that. So first, you've done all of them now, I guess, like within put-ins and stuff like that.
I've had my put-ins for all 3, for Gil, James and Others, and Oliver. And now I've performed officially twice as James and Others. This last weekend, Marcus Choi had to call out for a couple of performances, and Daniel May, who's the other James cover backstage.
Both friends of the pod.
Both friends of the pod, all friends of the pod. It's a great group of people. Daniel was on vacation, and so our stage manager came up to me and said, "Hey, so Marcus has to call out this weekend, so you're on for James." And so it was a blast. Whoa, it was a blast. Whoa. It was so fun, and I felt so prepared for it. People kept asking me, "Oh, are you nervous? Are you nervous?" And I said, "No, I feel like I've been thrown on for harder tracks in longer shows with less preparation."
Definitely, yeah.
And this team has done such a great job at preparing me to go on in these roles. And I had my put in for James back in May, and I screwed up a bunch of things, so I knew what to look out for. And then I had a run through the week before I went on, just luckily, with full costumes and full quick changes. And James is a huge quick change track.
Yeah,
he has some crazy
most changes.
Because he plays all of the human characters other than Gil Brentley.
Yeah.
And so the quickest change, I think, is about 15 seconds, and that's it's very
It's just
fun.
if you watch, I've only seen Marcus, but it's like you just watch and you're like, oh, is that Marcus? Is that is that him?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, now you have a towel on your head, now you have a different wig, now you have a different costume. It just keeps going.
He just keeps going, and he is so chill about it. I mean, he's been doing it for 2 years, but to watch him, he's like going through this 15-second quick change, and he's like, oh yeah, now I do this thing, and I do this thing, and I do this thing. I'm like, okay, I'm taking notes. Meanwhile, I go through that 15-second quick change, and I'm like, crap. All right, take off the shoes. All right, gotta take off the pants now. It's,
But it's okay, all the dressers are there. They have it covered. They're like, we've done this. They're like, okay, now it's your turn to do it and relax into it.
Yes.
But I guess because you've done a lot of standby in a lot of different shows.
I've done a good amount.
And so I guess how would you explain that feeling of not getting to perform every day and just having to be as prepared as you can, honestly?
Yeah, I mean, it's its own thing. It's its own skill set. Part of it, we don't necessarily get into this field so we can sit around backstage and hang out. And so there's a part that feels like a dream deferred of waiting around for something for a chance to perform, but then also like you don't actually want a bad reason to perform. Like I don't want to go on because someone is sick or injured. I want to go on because somebody's getting paid thousands of dollars to go sing a concert in Chicago or something like, and so they get a nice thing. They have a great day off, and I get to go on, or they're on vacation in Bali or something. That's why I want to go on. But so I'm never like I'm not what they call a hunger study that's just like waiting to go on. But yeah, you have to be prepared. You have to know what's going on. You have to know your tracks backwards and forwards so that at any point you can get a call that you're on. And I experienced that a couple of years ago when I was on tour with Into the Woods, where Sebastian Arcellus, who was playing the Baker, sprained his ankle mid-show. And so we got notification that Jason Forbach, who was his first cover, who played Rapunzel's Prince, that he would probably be swapping over and becoming the Baker for Act 2. Yeah. And that I would be next in line to go on for Rapunzel's Prince. And so we got to intermission, and they consulted with Sebastian, and he was like, yeah, I can't finish the show. And so I went on mid-show.
And the audiences were probably very confused
by
Jason switching.
Yes, yeah.
And then they're like, oh, who's this new face?
And of course, they made an announcement. They made an announcement about it. And that happened a couple of times on that tour. You know, Diane Phelan, who played Cinderella, she got ill during the show and had to call out. And my friend Ellie Fishman got thrown on at the last second. She was playing one of the stepsisters. Okay. And then she... there's a bunch of TikToks of her going on, and there are a lot of fun stories from that tour. Yeah. But anytime you're a standby, you could get a phone call at any point, you get a text at any point saying, "Hey, you're on right now," and so you have to be ready for that. And at the same time, while there is this sort of like dream deferred nature of being off stage all the time, there's also something really nice about it. And so there's on one side, there's the professional in me that loves to perform. Yeah. It's like, oh, I wish I were on stage 8 shows a week. And then on the other side, there's the lazy part of me that doesn't mind getting paid to hang out backstage and play video games, because that's what we do sometimes.
Sounds very, very nice.
Yeah. You know, we played Bananagrams the other day.
I know they used to play, they did a lot of Traders, I think, at like the beginning of the run. I remember seeing so many videos. I'm like, I didn't even know what Traders was at the time. And I was like, what is it? And they're just like all in the lobby playing.
There are a lot of games that happen backstage. It's a very fun group of people, you know, from the top down. And one of the stage managers, who is currently like a sub-stage manager, but she's coming back full-time soon. Her name is Carly Turia. And she is a big games person, and so she was like, she created the Traders game for the cast, for the company. A couple of other things. They'll do like a Mario Kart championship tournament, whatever. All sorts of things. I mean, the Mario Kart tournament doesn't happen during the show. It's like it's later on. But
there's a lot of downtime when you with standbys, and even with the show, like it's such a small cast.
It's a small cast,
and so you're able to get close very fast, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody. It's a really tight knit group, and also the whole show is an hour and 40 minutes long. Yeah. So when the show ends at 9:00, the show ends at like 8:45. Really, you're not exhausted, and you still have, the night is still young, and so if you're all getting along and you have this game going on, it's like, oh, it's 9:00. The tournament starts tonight, and we're gonna play some Mario Kart down in the green room. So it's that sort of company, and it's that sort of show, and everybody just has a great time, and it's been a blast so far. You know, I'm only 2.5 weeks into my full-time stint here. I'm on a year contract that started August 4th, so hopefully the show just runs. I'm knocking on all the wood in the world. Hopefully we just continue to run, and we have a lot of fun, and we play a lot of games, and I get more opportunities to perform, and a lot of opportunities to sit backstage and play video games, because I love doing that too.
I was so bummed that you went on right before I got here. I was like, oh, dang it, I was so close. I was like 2 days off, but it's okay. I'm like, I have still yet to see a single standby, and I know all of the standbys, so I'm like, we'll get there eventually, I'm sure. Yeah. And like, it's cool that maybe happy ending, like with Hannah getting promoted and then Claire and Steven going on the road. It's like, it's all one family, it feels like, which is really nice.
Yeah, and as somebody who has been an understudy so often in my career, you know, Into the Woods and on the King and I tour. And I understudied Jay Gatsby up at ART. Like I've done a lot of offstage covering, some onstage covering as well. But this is a very understudy forward company, and they take a lot of care. They don't. There are some companies that can make you feel like they really don't want you to go on because you're covering a Broadway star, and they want that Broadway star to perform. Because also, if a Broadway star, if somebody is above title and you're covering someone above title, there's a rule where you can always just
like a refund.
The audience members can get their tickets refunded, and so the producers are like hopeful that all the Broadway stars can go on. And so you feel like, oh, they really don't want me to perform. But this is not one of those companies. Like they want everybody to be able to perform. But they want you to be prepared to. They want us to be prepared to go on. They want us to feel comfortable. They want us to feel provided for and cared for. And it's a great company.
Yeah, and talk about, I guess, all the different roles that you cover, because you are the only one who does all three. Even on the tour, everyone's just doing two. But I guess you did Gil first, and he's kind of pretty chill, but like it's such a fun, different sound than we're used to in Broadway, I think. So what's it been like just getting to explore that?
I mean, I love jazz and I love old crooner stuff, Rat Pack. In high school I listened to a ton of Dean Martin. He was my Rat Pack guy. And of course, you know, Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and all that. They were great. But Dean Martin was my guy. And as I've gotten older, there are other people that I love that just have that sound. And like Chet Baker. Chet Baker is somebody I discovered in adulthood. And he's actually mentioned in the show. This is Chet Baker Sings. It's cool to be able to play a character like that. And the three tracks are just very different, right? So different, you have Gil, who's a real like singer track that he doesn't have any lines, and he sings and he comes out in these moments. It creates a sort of cinematic atmosphere where he's almost a soundtrack to the emotional moments that Oliver and Claire are going through. And then you have James, who's more of an actor track. That you have these juicy scenes as Junseo, as James's son, that are so beautiful and it's so perfectly written and so fun to perform in that sort of gravitas, actorly, like I want a real meaty scene.
Because he only does sing the one song. And so
he sings Where You
Belong. It is a lot of scene work.
It's a lot of scene work, and some of it you get like an SNL scene with the clerk at the motel, and then you have these dramatic scenes about a guy and his father, and then you have like the crazy quick changes. So that's sort of this backstage acrobatic act that nobody in the audience witnesses, but that is happening all show. And then, of course, you have Oliver, who, in an hour and 40-minute show, is on stage for an hour and 35 minutes.
Yes.
And so that is a marathon in and of itself. And you have 2 minute-and-a-half breaks. Only one of them is like a bathroom break that you can just, you jump off stage and then you sprint to the bathroom and you wash your hands real quick and you run back on stage and you are there. Ideally, you try and manage your fluid intake up to that point. So
but it's like you want to hydrate as singer, especially because you're singing so much. You're like, I want to drink water, but I also don't want to have to stress during a show. That's the worst thing.
But I mean, Oliver is. I had my put in 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, and it's so fun to do. It's a pretty stressful one, but it is so fun, and it's nice to go through that journey. That, you know, one of the great things about doing theater is that over film or TV, you know, in film or TV, you could be your shooting schedule. You might be there on day one of the shoot, but you're actually shooting page 116. And so it's like, oh, this is the scene that we're starting with. So it's a different craft and different task of knowing where you are in the progression so you can jump into those circumstances. But with theater, you get to start at point A and work through B, C, D, and E all the way to Z. And when you're a character that comes and goes, and you're on stage, sometimes you're off stage, you still get to make that journey, but you have to kind of fill in the gaps between scene 1 and scene 6 when you come back on stage. Whereas with Oliver and with other roles like Oliver, where you're on stage for pretty much the whole thing, you can really track the progression of the character and the character's journey from beginning to end, and you just experience the whole thing. So as an actor, it's just a really fulfilling, fun experience.
Yeah, and a question that I've asked, I think everyone in the cast, is how is it to work with Hwabun?
Oh, Hwabun, he's very cool. He's a little too cool, like kind of a diva.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have said. And some people have had like, different takes of like, oh, people misunderstand him, but...
He actually had some of the Oliver lines taken away from Oliver and given to Hwabun. And I don't want to, I'm not supposed to badmouth anybody in the cast, and Hwabun, I have so much respect for him as a performer, as an artist. I tend to think like it's not about the number of lines you have, it's more about your presence on stage, and he does have the most stage time of anybody on stage, so you'd think that he would just be happy with that. But
I know, what do you think Mabun is saying? Because you get to work, as James and stuff, you get to work with Mabun as well.
Mabun also, now Mabun, not as much of a diva. Mabun just likes having a princess track, and she's pretty good about that.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
It kind of makes you think how Mabun and Hwabun, like what their relationship is like too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mabun clearly was here first and paved the way for Hwabun, and so I think Hwabun has appreciation for that.
Yeah.
But has sort of surpassed Mabun, at least in stage time on this one, and we'll see where he gets in the future.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's done so many roles already.
Of course.
Lots of different musicals, like I think they said like Little Shop and things like that. And, there's just so many Broadway plants.
And I'm hoping that eventually, once I finish up with Oliver and Gil and James, and I feel settled into those roles, I'm hoping that my agents can negotiate that I can also cover Hwabun. But we'll see.
Yeah, put on the leaves and you're ready.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess, what is like your favorite song to sing in the show? Because this is a soundtrack that I've definitely had on repeat for how many years? 2 years now that it's been out, and every song is good.
Yeah, they're all good songs, and my favorite changes week to week. I love singing. I think maybe Happy Ending, the title song at the end is a really sweet and tragic and beautiful song. I love singing it as an actor. Sentimental Person is just such a great jazz standard. It could be plucked right out of the 1940s, 1950s. Like, if this song existed in 1950, like the amount of people who would be fighting, crawling over each other to try and be the first person to record it.
Yeah.
It's a very good song, and I love singing it. I just had a rehearsal for Gil today, and so that's my next set established dates are for Gil at the end of September. So the 26th and 27th I'll be on.
Okay, put it on your calendars.
Yeah, September 26th and 27th. Two show days. I'm on for all 4 shows.
Oh my gosh, that'll be so great. I don't think I'll be able to get here, but
that's all
like
right.
Next time, I'm like in November maybe. Crossing my fingers.
Hopefully the show will be running when you graduate and you come to New York.
I hope so too. And I'll get to see the tour, I'm sure, because it'll come through Boston and see all the people. Because I just saw Claire in the family album at La Jolla.
Right.
And so it's like, I'm just collecting different shows I'm seeing everyone in. Because I've seen Zach in a couple things, I've seen you in a couple things, I've seen Hannah in Back to the Future. I'm like, I'm just seeing everyone in different things.
Yeah.
I've seen Marcus in Hamilton. Like, it's cool to see like a cast where it feels like everyone is very familiar.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm just rooting for literally everybody because everyone's so talented.
And that's one of the things about being in a show with so many Asian American performers is that we all just know each other through the scene and through some of us have worked together before. Zach and I did See What I Want to See together a couple of years ago.
Yes.
I mean, we met doing a reading or a concert or something like 10, 12 years ago or whatever when we were children, And so it's just nice to all be together and be working on something that's so
Yeah, and
special and beautiful.
Like James Soul is going on the tour as James, and like I saw him come from away. I saw Zach in K-pop. I was like, which was the like Asian explosion show.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But it's like every single person, I'm like, oh, I know you. I feel like I know you from just seeing so many things, and always trying to uplift, obviously, our communities.
Of course.
And just feeling comfortable in that, and knowing that, especially when they won the Tonys, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was such a relief. It's such a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
We get passed over so much, and it's nice to be celebrated once in a while by the greater community.
No, and be a bit more normalized. I remember talking to Hannah a lot about that, like a couple years ago, just saying like, hopefully we're getting into the normalization phase of us. It just there's still a lot to do.
Of course.
But it's nice when everything doesn't have to necessarily surround just the identity part of it, where we can kind of just breathe into something else that is equally as beautiful and something that we can all be proud of.
And what's nice about Maybe Happy Ending is that while in essence it is an Asian story because it takes place in Seoul, you could replace the word Seoul and the different names and locations, and it's not about Asian identity. It's not about, they're not fighting to get on a helicopter to flee Saigon, right? They're not. It's not an Asian trauma story. Is mainly a big thing.
Yes.
It's not about Japanese internment camps, and it's not about the Chinese Exclusion Act. And these are all like really important parts of American history that we need to teach children and students, so that we don't
do it again.
And we are doing it again. So we clearly don't teach our history well enough. It's not an Asian trauma story, and it could take place anywhere in the world, but the writers have it taking place in Seoul and Jeju Island in Korea. And it's so nice to just play characters that are full of joy and full of human experiences.
Human and not human at the same time. But it's like, because they're not, it makes it the most human. And somehow. And like I know they're even doing it in Taiwan right now. I think like they're doing the Korean version in Taiwan. And they've done it before, and I was like, this is cool, it's still going around.
Yeah, I would love to see the Korean version. I've heard it's very different.
Oh, I've done my fair share of deep dives on YouTube and looked at literally as much as I possibly could. This was before the cast recording was out. And it's like, the fans for this show are incredible.
There's some great fans, and we see a lot of cosplay too. We'll see people dressing up as Oliver and Claire and coming to the show. Not as many people dressing up as Waboon. There should be more.
Definitely. Yeah. I know. I mean, people do that for Audrey too in Little Shop. So
that's true.
Why not?
It's only a matter of time.
I know they're selling the little. They're getting like little plushies soon.
Plushies, yeah. Oh, it's
like
so
I gotta
great.
get my hands on one of those at some point. And like I passed a cafe today that was selling like cake. It's like a Waboon plant cake or something like that.
Yep.
I was like, they're doing the most with the merch, and I'm loving it.
Doing a good job.
Yeah, but Sam, it's been great chatting with you. Is there anything else that you want to share? Any other dates or just important, exciting things that maybe don't have to do with Maybe Happy Ending?
I haven't even thought about anything that's happening. My whole summer has been about theater, and I can't complain about that. But I don't even know what's next for me other than these James dates on the 26th and 27th. If you're anywhere in the country outside of New York, if you're in New York or near New York, come see the show. If you're outside of New York, check the Maybe Happy Ending tour schedule and see when the show is coming through your town. I know they're going to DC and Greensboro and Greenville and Appleton, Wisconsin and Chicago. They're going everywhere. So check the tour schedule, see if they're coming near you, and go support the show. It's a beautiful show. The touring cast is excellent. I have some good friends on that cast, and it's going to be a good time. Whether it's in New York or LA or anywhere that the show is, come see the show.
Yeah, and let's keep supporting Maybe Happy Ending. But thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Sam just for being here and taking time in your busy day to chat with us. And it's literally in between rehearsal and a show. So thank you so much, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.